Welcome back. I guess you also saw on the television late last week the images of some figures with their faces blacked out and surrounded by border security. And then we saw a bus taking off to somewhere, and supposedly they were on board. And then later we saw the other side of the airport, a Nauru plane, Nauru Air. And then the last thing we saw was that plane taking off and disappearing into the night sky. And I was left wondering, were those figures aliens? Or were they maybe sea monsters that had been washed up on the beaches and the mangroves of around Beagle Bay? Or were they contaminated? For the Sydney-siders, did they have asbestos? Or for the rest of us, did they have a new type of COVID? And as I pondered, I was reminded of the situation of Alexei Navalny in Russia. And we share this because the gospel today has Jesus calling his own generation wicked because they were seeking a sign. They were insisting on a sign from Jesus. And all along he was giving them what John the Evangelist called signs, his miracles. He was healing cripples, he was healing lepers, he was healing dead people, he was healing multiple people, and he was giving a message, his Sermon on the Mount, and his rejection of eye for an eye, etc. All the symbols that Jesus was giving. The people of his day were either incapable or unwilling to listen to and hear, or to look at and actually see. And then I was thinking of our own situation here. I go to Mass in a parish on a Sunday, and various parishes around Melbourne and outside. And I get the illusion that I'm one of the young people there. I wonder where all the people are. Why are we not all gathering to break bread and the word in remembrance of Jesus? And I can only conclude that our ministry is failing. Now I know there are complications like a very strong secularization in society. And I know we have ostracized many because of the plague of pedophilia. But why is our ministry not reaching both the believers and the unbelievers and bringing to them the good news? The good news that Jesus has come. Jesus has given his life, and Jesus has been raised to life for us. And we also have been saved. We're not getting the message through. And I can't believe it that the response that the official church, both here in Aussie and I know in the States, is making is amalgamating parishes. For what purpose? Because we don't have enough priests. Is that not a sign for us? That God is not giving us enough priests to maintain the current structure that served very well for generations. But the sign to me is that it has run its course and needs to be revamped. Priestly ministry needs to be seriously looked at. But we won't do that. We look at structures instead of parishes. And so, what I'm a bit afraid of is that when we come to judgment, the Queen of the South, who came to hear Solomon, and the Ninevites, the city of people of Nineveh, who listened to Jonah and repented, will stand up in judgment of us. Because we have not opened our eyes and our hearts and our minds to the signs of the times that God is giving us. This is just one example. And we have a practice, certainly amongst the Columbans, and certainly the Jesuits, of having a daily examine of consciousness, of taking a little time at the end of the day, and in the power of the Spirit, guided by the Spirit, review that day and see where or how God has maybe been speaking to us through the signs that have passed through our day, so that they're just not lost, but they're allowed to speak to us, and we can come to know our God much better and how to live the great life we have much better, the life of sons and daughters of our loving God. And don't forget our YouTube, will you? Thank you. Have a great week.